dedicated to celebrating gospel music, the very ones who have ushered and are still ushering encouragement through the world. So I've decided to travel around the country and find these brave individuals to celebrate them, to preserve and document their history. So hopefully you enjoy this. This is definitely a celebratory genre of music that is worthy of documentation. Our first episode is right here in Houston, Texas. We're here visiting Mr. Tyrone Scott of the world famous Airways. Made it here to Houston. Exciting trip. So what happened was flew into Las Vegas first and got the opportunity to actually go see Harrison Johnson. I went ahead, lunch with him, and went back to the airport and flew here to Houston. Now I'm off to see the man of the hour, Mr. Tyrone Scott. Praise the Lord. Listen, this is like our first meal together. I'm so excited. So we're just going to say grace. I'm so happy just to be here. And Mr. Larry Robertson is holding the camera, so of course you can't see his face. But Lord, thank you, God, for this opportunity for us to congregate together. Thank you for safe travels, Lord. Thank you for just allowing us to be able to share love among each other. Thank you, God, for Tyrone Scott. Thank you for all of his contributions to gospel music. Thank you for allowing him to still be around, to smell the roses, and for people to embrace him and love on him, Lord God. So Larry Robertson is in the car singing "Let Him Drive." Don't let me blind them, but go ahead, hit that showers of thirst. So this is downtown Houston, y'all. Downtown. See, so refreshing. Oh, let some drop. Oh, let it drop. Oh, Lordy. Oh. All right. This is just some wonderful footage here. Look how good you look. You see that? You see that man right there?
Yeah. All right. Thank you. I see.
So we're just riding in the car. Just yeah. So as you ride in the car, just looking around and just taking in your environment, what's the first thing that comes to mind?
The beauty of the trees and things that here in Texas, and that's about it now.
What brought you here to Texas?
Well, I have relatives here, and one of my relatives passed, and I came, and I had a house here, and I came and stayed a few days because I was still working every day there. And I rode around. I just decided to come back here because I lived here once earlier, back in the 70s. I lived here for a while. So I just decided to come because things are better. And California, we were having some problems out there work-wise in the school district. And so that's the main reason.
And speaking of school, like a lot of people know you for your musicianship, but you're also in the education field. How did that come about? Did you always have a passion for education?
Ever since I got out of high school, I started in college to be, just taking the junior college classes. And at that time, I was doing psychology. I wanted to be a social worker. But then later, as time went, when I met up with Clara, then I dropped out of college, and went traveling. So long story short, every time we had a break where we didn't have anything. No work for the ward singers, I came home and I went back to school for one semester too, until finally I got my bachelor's. Went away again, stayed a few years, came back, got my master's in education. So now I have a master's in English and minor in Spanish. So I teach mainly 11th grade students now, 10th and 11th.
Yeah, question when it's
no,
time.
It's already, just hold it. Just follow me. So look, this is, what's the name of this church? Holman Street Baptist Church. This is the church that Tyrone Scott played for a number of years. He just told us what year he started, right? You remember? I'm getting old, sometimes I lose my memory or my train of thought. if that. All right, but anyway, come. This is a beautiful church. What do you think he played? Did he play the organ or the piano here?
He played the organ.
The organ. You all look at this edifice.
He also led the men.
Let's get the sign. The place you want to be.
1 year they called it.
All right.
Whoa.
What you see something?
Ran a red light.
Oh Lord, he done ran the red light. Uh-oh, it just changed, y'all. Okay, he on it. But look, so we're just riding around Houston and we're going by some of the churches that he has been affiliated with throughout his time here in Houston. So when you first came to Houston, how did you get involved, or how did you get your first role at a church, and what church was that?
Well, like I said, I had relatives and things. I can't remember how I got the first one exactly, but it didn't take long. Like I said, I have relatives that live here, that have been here all their life, here in Houston. I think somebody turned me on to a church. You know, the word of mouth. Mm-hmm. That's the best I could do.
And you were playing that organ, huh?
Yeah.
So what is it about that organ that excites you?
Well, actually, it's just the sound. It's so different. Mm-hmm. Because when I was growing up, it was a long time before we were in a church that had an organ. Mm-hmm. But I prefer the piano.
Really?
Yes, any day. Of course, when I left here and went back to California. But before coming here, I came straight from London.
Uh-oh.
London here to Houston because my grandfather had passed, and I never did go back to work over there. But I was working in London with my group called the Majestics.
Oh.
Yeah, I was working there for a long time, and of course before I got to London, I worked in Paris. I did hair there for 2 years.
Wow.
And I did 3 solo songs, lead songs and what have you, there in Paris.
Wow.
At the Porte de Saint-Martin. That's where I worked there.
Well, since we're talking about Paris, talking about hair, go ahead. I think this is a perfect segue. How did you get involved in that musical?
In hair?
Yes.
Actually, there was a guy who came to Grace Memorial, and they were looking at all, visiting, and it was crowded. And after church, he came and got me, Gloria Jones, and Dolores Addison Hall, and asked us if we wanted to go to do hair in Los Angeles. We were there, and we said no. And then he said, well, okay, we're gonna fly you. You go to New York first and see what it's like. Because I didn't really know what it was like that much. And so first they said they wasn't going. Dolores and Gloria said they weren't going. Well, I never said that. He said, well, if you're going, meet me somewhere the next day at noon, and bring your bag, bring your bags. And that's what we did. I went, I got there, I thought I was going to be able to meet, everybody was there trying to get out of, get a chance to be in a Broadway show.
Wow.
So I made it to, went to look at the show in New York, and then met the people there, and then came back, they opened up again in Hollywood, Los Angeles, and then I was there at that, for 2 years I was there in Hollywood.
So you did the show for 2 years?
Yeah. In one place.
So in total, how many years did you do?
I would say 6 or 7 years, at least.
So what is the logistics, or how do it work as far as like the Broadway show? Like, so you were called to an open...
Well, see, when you go on Broadway with a show, it usually, if it goes well there, they'll do another show of the same caliber in another major city.
Oh,
and so from New York, they did Hollywood, or they call it Los Angeles. They did Chicago. They did San Francisco. Then they went overseas and done Paris, and they did London, Germany. They were in Germany, in Munich, and Japan, and so on.
Wow.
Did a lot of different shows, but it was all the same. It was all the same play, just different singers. Now, we singers from Los Angeles, we the one brought the soul to the show. Because when we started singing, we took it to church. We took it to church, and that went crazy. That's how we got to work so long. Because if you didn't have that fire behind you, that church thing, you really wouldn't make it too much unless you got one of the lower parts. The lead parts were all of us from the church, plus Ben Vereen. He was in and out of the church.
Wow. Well, we're going to talk about the War Singers a little bit later, but you said something about your group. Tell us about the Majestics, right?
The Majestics, I formed the Majestics when they wanted us to record, and they needed they wanted American sound and some American people. I got people from that were in Paris. Let's see, were we in Paris? We were in Paris, and I got two of people. Peter Clark, who's he's a well-known now TV star.
Oh yeah.
We got him and Leroy, who's the producer of that CD you have there. And I started a group, and we started getting gigs. The first major gig we got was with Shirley Bassey. That's the first we did. The first Goldfinger woman. She's well known. Shirley Bassey. She's out of Wales, Europe.
Wow.
And we did we started traveling. We went with her at the Albert Hall, which is the big hall in
and this
London.
Was the Majestics.
Majestics.
Wow.
That was in London. It was the big hall, like a Carnegie Hall here in New York, something of that caliber. And we did that show with her. We opened up the show. Our group opened up the show for her. And we went all over England, and then we went to Scotland, we went to Wales, and another place.
Wait,
Austria, Germany. We did all that with Shirley Bassey.
So, I'm going to press pause.
Hi, Dr. Scott. I'm a huge fan, and I want to thank you for your contributions to gospel music. My questions for you are, what do you remember of the following members of the Ward Singers? Clara Thomas, Viola Crowley, the pianist and organist Alton Williams, Sandra Mitchell, and Gloria Berry.
Right, so I'm going to try to steal a question in, or sneak a question in. We're on our way to, what's the name of the church?
Fountain of Praise.
Fountain of Praise. But Mr. Zaire, of course, you're going to see the screen split, and he's going to ask a question. And he's asking about Viola Crowley, and a few Fountain of Praise. There you go.
Own all that property. It's not the church, it's their property.
Y'all see this?
We plan on making a little bit there every now and then.
And he asked about Alton Williams.
Yes. He passed a few years ago, but he played for Clara when they first left. When the Stars of Faith first separated, he was Clara's musician.
Wow. You know where he was from?
Not really. I can't remember now.
What was the other? I think he said something about Bobby, right?
I didn't hear him say Bobby.
What was the first name?
I think he asked about Clara.
Clara, yeah.
Clara T didn't stay in the group too long. She went to a Jehovah's Witness was her first upbringing, so she went back to that church, and therefore she had to lead the group. Gloria Jean Berry, she went to Hawaii with us. After that, I don't remember seeing her anywhere else on the scene. She was good, but I don't think it was for her. She was a little young, and I don't think she was ready to do that. Viola Crowley was been with the group forever. That was Clara's closest buddy, was Viola Crowley, and she passed too, but she was good. I loved her. And who else did he have on that list?